Perfectly. How was your day? Good?
Yeah. I had a great day. I've been looking forward to this for a little while now. So I'm
Yeah.
excited that we are here. And good evening, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are. Good afternoon. I am here this evening with none other than Dwight Thomas on another episode of Track and Field Business Uncut. And I'll be talking to Dwight Thomas. Dwight Bigger Thomas. No, you have to be a track and field fan to know that name. You have to be a track
Yes.
and field fan to know that name. Dwight, welcome to HP Track Chat. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very happy I could be able to join everyone tonight, and I think I could share a lot in terms of my background, track and field of business, etc. All your questions I could have answered. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. And already we have, guess who is on the live? Davian Clark, the big man himself.
D. Clark.
Yes, Davian is here.
Yes.
Welcome, Davian. Welcome, everyone, for being here. And Dwight, just to kick things off, I like to ask this question. Tell
Yes.
me a little bit about Dwight as a little boy growing up before you even get into track and field.
Yes. I grew up in Waterford, Portmore. If anyone ever know where that is, so it's in St. Catherine. Went to Waterford Primary School. Actually, the first sport that I really was my true love was football, what they call it soccer in the US. That was my first love, my passion. I was very passionate about football growing up. So I used to always play on the play field, or we call it play field, which like soccer fields here at your primary school after school on the weekends, and we play like for hours. So I was a big Brazil fan growing up. Like from the age of like 9, I could remember all the way back to the age of 9, 1990 World Cup. That's how much I was like embedded with the sports of soccer. But my sports over the time, track and field, my speed have kind of outdo me, with football, and I couldn't like not really like fulfill that that promising talent that I have as far as like being fast at my primary school. So I had to transition to track and field and kind of put football aside.
When did you transition to track and field, before you get to high school or while in high school?
No, way before in primary school. I went to primary champs. So I won primary champs. So in primary school, Waterford, I won primary champs my last year before I went to Calabar. So actually Calabar was like heavily recruiting me, and Jamaica College I could remember. I spoke to those two. Michael Clark, who is a dear friend of mine, and his son, who I actually work with. Michael Clark recruited me at Boys Champs, but I ended up going to Calabar because I had a bloodline of people that went to Calabar in my family. My older brother did, my twin brother, a cousin did. I have another brother that went to Calabar. So that's like 4 people went to Calabar out of the Thomases. So I could not turn down going to Calabar. And then I went on to Calabar and continued to run track all the way through till for first farm, the 6th to 5th farm. Yes.
So you're originally from St. Catherine
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
not Kingston. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Grew up in Kingston after, but I love to say I'm from Portmore because that's where I grew up. That's where I learned to be an athlete from the age of when I was in call it third grade. In third grade, I forgot how old you are in third grade, but that's when I really started. So that's when I get introduced to track and field in third grade. I start running it at 8 years old. Yeah, I was 8 years old in third grade. I start running then, and the first time I run at to stadium, I didn't run with no spikes, no shoes. I remember the chevron was even hot. Chevron, they call it the rubber track. And hop on the side on the grass until time to go, and then you hop back on the track and Mark said go, and got third, and so I have to say I'm originally Portmore is where I like to say. Yeah, I like to say I'm from Portmore.
I
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Big up your roots, of
Yeah, we
course.
got
And
big up.
and the reason why I wanted to make it clear is because um I have a world championship quiz coming up,
Yeah,
and I'm trying to find data on you guys. And I was told that you're from Kingston. So I'm happy that you made it clear that you're a St. Catherine man. So I will go
yeah,
and update
yeah.
my records.
Mhm.
But Calabar, let's jump into Calabar.
Yeah,
Calabar,
yes,
tell me about your transition from primary school running barefooted to
yeah.
Calabar running in spikes.
Yeah, so when I went to Calabar, first farm, Herb McKinley, rest in peace, God bless his soul. He probably was the most influential person in my career at Calabar. From the moment I stepped foot on campus till the moment I left, Herb McKinley was like right there throughout my whole career. So Calabar first farm started out, I went to Calabar, see the big guys, the class one guys. I was very intimidated. I was like, yo, I'm supposed to run against all these, train with these guys, you get rough up. They're kind of like, yo, you're a lion now, and rough you up a little bit. You're kind of like intimidated, when I was in first farm. And then, but the passion was there to make sure I go to practice every day. I didn't care, you know, I don't want to say it was bullying, but it's just a phase where like, hey, you're a newcomer. This is how you get introduced to the track team. So the older guys, the grown men on the team, the class one guys, they kind of give you an opportunity to say, hey, we run things and you're the up and comer. So make sure sit back and listen to everything we said. And that was a growing process for me because when I got older, it was the same thing. So I think most of what they were trying to do is kind of like teach us how to be a Calabar lion the moment you step on campus. Just like Kingston College, I said they're Fortis, everyone, you just have your own kind of identity to the high school that you go to. So Calabar was like, this is how we become a lion. This is how we like roar when it's time to compete. So the older guys, I remember Stokely Rose, I could call names. Stokely Rose, Sean Marsh, Maurice Wignall.
No, don't call them yet. I'm going to
Yeah,
ask you to call them later on
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah.
Hold
Yes.
that thought. Hold
I
that
hold
thought.
that thought, but all
Yes.
these guys though, like, was the class one, late class two guys. So I was just up under their wing and trying to kind of like be like them, because I saw them competing for Calabar when I was at Waterford Primary. So now I'm at Calabar rubbing shoulders with them. Is like, wow, I'm really here at Calabar with all of these guys that I was seeing when I was in primary school. So for me, right, just going to practice every day, it was like fun for me already. Just to see them and train with them and say I'm training with Ali Watson and Glendon England. I don't want to call names again, but yes, sorry again.
We're
But
going to call you. I'm
yeah,
going to give you
yeah,
an
yeah,
opportunity
yeah.
to call all of those names. But tell
So,
me, Dwight,
yeah.
how did you get the name Bigger?
So everybody know that I'm a twin. So my twin brother is Dwayne Thomas. And he also
Oh.
runs track. He's also a track runner. So we both went to Calabar together. We both went to Waterford Primary together, but he was a distance runner. He was a little bit smaller than I was. So we are twin and I'm bigger. That's why I did the sprint and he was a distant runner. Obviously, distant runner got to be small to be able to run the distance. So to kind of distinguish who we was, it kind of like they call him Wingy. So Wingy mean something small, It's something kind of wingy or kind of like small, and then bigger. You're the bigger one out of the two of you guys. So bigger. So that's how the name Bigger came in. So they would say like Bigger and Wingy. Yeah. So it was a twin thing. And trust me, this name stick with me up till today. People in the United States that I don't even know my whole life call me Bigger. Even Adidas, I competed for Adidas for 12 years professionally, 13 years, I think. And even my boss, who is Dutch, South African, has nothing to do with Jamaica, he called me Bigger. Because he just heard the term Bigger throughout my whole time competing. So this name stick with me from I was at Waterford Primary to this day. To this day. And
Interesting.
it's interesting. And it's not like I walk around and say, hey, hello, I'm Bigger. No, I say, hey, I'm Dwight. But
Listen,
nobody
man.
skip the
And
Dwight. They don't want to say the Dwight. They just say,
any track and field fan, if you're a track and field fan, you will know that name
yeah, you
because
know.
I've been in the stadium and I've heard that name. I've listened to
Yeah,
commentary and I've heard Dwight Bigger Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah,
It is a part of your roots. It's a part of
yeah,
your birth
yeah,
certificate, if you
yeah.
ask me.
Yes.
But you've chosen to do the 100 meters and the 110 meter hurdles. Why those two events?
You know, I had an older brother that went to Calabar before me. As I said, I had like few relatives that went to Calabar before me. So I had an older brother, his name is Norman Mars. He went to Calabar and he actually won the 110 hurdles in class 2 and class 1. So when I went to Calabar, the coach was Mr. Clear. Your brother was a hurdler and he was a pretty good hurdler. He won boys champs, a few years before I got to Calabar. That's when he migrated afterwards. Then I started Calabar. I'm going to let you hurdle then because your brother was a good hurdler. He won champs. So I was like, okay, I'll do the hurdles then. And, surely I started doing the hurdles and it came quickly. I adapt to it quickly and then I start becoming a hurdler. But at the same time, I did not want to leave the sprint. The sprint was my bread and butter. The sprint was my baby. I love sprinting. So I end up doing both. I do the one and the hurdles. Yes, so I end up doing both. But I got introduced to it in class 3. The moment I first day of practice, Coach Clear, hey, we're gonna do the hurdles. And I never hesitated or I never kind of like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm up for the challenge. Yeah, let's go.
Wow.
Yes, I was a hurdler, yeah.
So what was the training like? You're doing 2 events. You're doing what we call the flat sprint and you're going over hurdles.
Yeah.
Was the training, what was the training like in order to master those 2 events? Because you did master both.
Yes. I mean, when you think about the hurdles is also a sprint event. So you have to sprint to be a sprint hurdler. So they complement each other anyway. But the hurdles do have technical stuff you have to do with it as a technicality. So we have to do some kind of technical training day, but we didn't do it every day. I just usually mostly do the sprints and then I have my technical session with Coach Clear, Mr. Clear, to do the hurdles. So I probably hurdle like twice a week and then I would do actual training the next 3 days out of the week. But it was okay. Yeah, it was okay because the day you're doing hurdles is almost like you're sprinting. You're sprinting up to the hurdles to hurdle it. And then so it's like you're doing sprint anyway. And when you're at that young age at Calabar in class 3 and class 2, you're at a development stage. So you want to like explore different events. Even if I could have done the long jump, I'd have done because you don't know if you're going to be the world champion or Olympic champion 5, 6, 7 years down the road. So for me doing the hurdles in first farm and second farm and third, it was like development. I didn't win champs in class 3. In class 3, I got 8th place in the hurdles at boys champs. I got 8th place.
Here, man, in Jamaica, we say you come last.
So think about this. This is a fun fact. The first champs I ran, I got dead last in the hurdle. The last boys champs I ran, I break the record, the champs record, and won. So I go from last, my class 3 years, to my class 1 year winning and break the record. And then
determination.
Determination. I could have gave up when I got 8th and said, well, I'm not good at this. I'm not going to do it no more. Yeah. No. So that's why I'm telling a lot of like young athletes, like it's a development stage when you're in first farm, second farm, third farm, class 3, class 2. But don't really make those years dictate what you could do later on. Just use them as a challenging stepping stone to where you could achieve later on. That's how I like kind of like explain it.
Indeed. And you are right. Champs is a big thing. Champs is a big mood. When you're on the track and you hear the fans in the stands singing C-bar, tell me about that energy.
So you know what? If you got to think about champ, you see that tunnel that we come through to go on the track? Mm-hmm. That tunnel right there is where everything's starting to get turned into reality. Because when you're going through the tunnel, you got a lot of people on top. Mm-hmm. And they look down and they're like, Bigger, you ready? Or Bigger, let's go. And you don't want to look up because you don't want to like kind of like, get distracted. But you hear people saying your name walking through the tunnel to the track. And then, Bigger, let's go. Bigger, I have money on you. People say they're betting. I have money on you. Don't lose. All of these things. So think about that. How intimidating it could have been, number one. How much pressure I put on your shoulders, number two. And when you're going out now on the track, you see the big Calabar flag on the backstretch and in the grandstand. So now you think like you have this whole school and whole fans and everybody behind you. But ultimately the goal is, look, I'm not lose today. I'm not lose. So like that was my big thing. I'm not losing. I almost step on the track. I put it down, I put it down and I won. So, but just going out through that tunnel to the track was was the biggest part for me.
And hearing the drums.
Yeah, and hear the drums and yeah, the doom doom. See bar, yeah, like that's a big thing. Like no, just it just bringing back those memories. Like it's going into my mind again. Honestly, just talking about it right now. Yeah, just it's a long time ago, but yeah, just bringing it up back right now. I almost feel like it was yesterday.
The feeling and the
Yeah,
mood.
the feeling, I almost
You
feel like
were
it was
you
yesterday.
were dominant. You were dominant at champs. When you line up in that 110-meter hurdles or the 100-meter, name me one threatening competitor that you had in that race that would make you a little nervous.
Roy Bailey was one of my biggest competitors. And he went to Calabar too as well. So Roy Bailey at the time was like the defending champion. I was coming up to a first year one and he was already second year one and he was the defending champion. And so we was gonna line up together. So both of us supposed to go head to head. But unfortunately he got hurt in the 200-meter semifinal. So after I got hurt, the big showdown didn't happen, and I end up win both events, including her. So I win three events. But Rai was a person like I was looking forward to line up against out of anybody. Yeah, out of anybody because he ran 20.4 back then in those time, which like is unheard of. Today that would have been that would have related to like somebody at champs running probably like 20 flat today. Yeah. Because he's talking about almost 20 years ago, he ran 20.4 and won the Carifta Games. That's equivalent about 20 flat today, I would say. So
Wow.
that's how fast he was. That's how talented he was. But I think injuries was one of the things that kind of hindered his career from him kind of leaving where he could have went to. He really had a lot of injury problem over his time at Calabar. But Roy Bailey, if he's watching this interview, he's probably going to see it. And he's probably going to say, okay, yeah, but we were looking forward to that showdown at champs. But yeah, Roy, I would say.
Yeah, you're right. Roy Bailey, I think he actually got injured at Carifta also.
Yes.
He was injury prone. Yeah.
Injury prone. Yeah, it was very injury prone.
He was. Calabar is one of the biggest names in boys champs. And when I say one of the biggest names, I mean one of the biggest names in boys champs. What was the secret behind the success at 61 Red Hills Road?
You know what I would say is, I would say training with your teammates, like, and just the name. I think the name too as well have something to do with it. Like, no, because I really want to give a true answer to it. I think the name, and I think looking forward to the competition against KC, JC. In my time, it was JC who was a big dominant one. KC. So every day we train, look forward to like we want to go against JC and KC. So that kind of put determination for Calabar athletes kind of like to go out there and challenge other big schools like Kingston College and like Jamaica College. Like for me, I love to go to practice because I know the challenge was going to be tough. Yeah, I could tell you like another good athlete from Jamaica College who I was looking up to run against. His name was Oral Telfia. I don't know if he's going to see this interview. So Oral Telfia. And these guys was already a year ahead of me. So I know I had to train in order to beat them because to me, they're already older than me, and I'm coming up to compete against them. And they're like waiting on me to come up to them. So think about it. I have to train hard, you have to train hard. And then you had Marlon Barnaby from Kingston College, who was a defending champion from class 2, who beat me in class 2, but now stepping up to class 1 to compete against him again. So
you keep meeting these guys on your way up.
Exactly. I keep meeting them on my way up. Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Calabar is the number 2 school in boys champs with 28 titles. You have contributed to this. You have been to a school where we've had Olympians before your time running 1-2 at the Olympics, talking about Mr. Herb McKinley and Mr. Arthur Wint in that Quinella. Just tell me how you feel being a part of that Calabar legacy and the Jamaica legacy.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Herb McKinley used to share so much story with us. Like, that's where like other schools didn't get to experience like being coached by Herb. Going to Calabar, you get to hear from the legend himself. One day he brought a spikes to practice, and he said Merlin Atty gave him the spikes, and he was gonna give it to somebody. He was gonna give it to me, but you know what happened? The spikes were too small. You don't know all that hurt, but like to be able to say I'm gonna run in a spikes by Merlin Atty, but the spikes was too small. I was forcing my foot in that spikes, but just for
No man, bigger. You're too serious. But oh God, bigger. Look at Merlin. Merlin supposed to wear a size
exactly.
7.5.
The spikes was too small, but more everything for my foot could fit that spike. So just for have the bragging rights, say, look, now I'm Merlin at the spikes right now, but it just never fit. But just being around Herb McKinley, those kind of moments, I kind of remember. See, I still remember he brought the spikes and trying to give me the spikes. So yeah, Merlin had to give it, but being around Herb, he taught us so much. Like he taught us how we should grow as athletes. He told me like, Dwight, you should run the 1, the 2, and the hurdles at Boys Champs. I think you could win all 3. I didn't think I was gonna win all 3. And then what happened? I did win all 3. So if I didn't like listen to my coach and listen to Herb, I wouldn't have won the 3 events at Boys Champ, 3 individual events. I think the only other person I've done that since is Michael O'Hara, which is another Calabar athlete. Other than that, no athlete ever won like the 1, the 2, and the hurdles at champs. So that's a feat like I'm always look at it like not many people achieve that. Yes, a lot of people win the 1 and the 2, or you might win just the hurdles. But there's not a lot of hurdlers who can go in Boys Champs in the sprint event and win the 1 and the 200 meters. So Herb McKinley kind of saw my talent. He see what I could have done, even without me myself seeing that I could have do it. I've done it. Sorry, yeah. So he was a really visionary person to me. Like he saw everything in me. And I remember he sat me down in practice and said, hey, I think you go win all 3. And I was like, you sure? Win all 3? I have Bonner, I have all of these people I got to run. He's like, yeah, could win all 3. And I was like, all right, then coach, whatever. If that's what we got to do, that's what we got to win champs. That's what we got to do to win Boys Champs. Because we already won the previous year. And that was my first time winning Boys Champs. So it was a good feeling to run around the track with the trophy. So Herb McKinley, just his guidance, his message that he sent to the team every day. And when he sent his message, he loved to cry. That's one thing people like always talk about. Herb, when we have the meeting before Boys Champs, he starts shed his tears. And like the tears is what kind of drive you. Like, oh man, he's shedding the tears. All right, that means we got to get to work. Everybody, we're ready? We're ready? Yeah, when he start shedding the tears in the meetings, man. Same thing when he might tell me run the 1, the 2, and the 4. He start crying. But I think you purpose to do that because he know you're not going to say no.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you know you're not going to say no. I think that's why you do it.
I've heard so many wonderful stories about Mr. Herb McKinley. It is amazing. But fitness and injuries, how were you able to manage to stay fit? And because you don't seem like an athlete who is injury prone.
Yeah, but I'm one of the fortunate one throughout my whole career. I never really have any crazy soft tissue injuries. I never had a pull hamstring or pull quad. I don't know. I guess it's just my genetics from my parents. Really good genetics. And then you know what too? With the hurdle also help with my flexibility and range of motion. So like being more flexible and being more like have the ability to have a little bit more range of motion in your hips, your leg, your thigh, your knees. It kind of help you sprint better and kind of like allow you to be able not to get injured easily. So the hurdles, I think, help me as a sprinter because be able to do the hurdle, you can't be rigid, you can't be stiff, you can't be tight. If you have any kind of those symptoms, the hurdles is not for you. So being able to do the hurdles where you have to be like really loose and flexible, that helped with the sprint. And I think that's what helped me over my career. So I didn't get hurt or injured badly. Yeah, you get your small little, I'm sore, I'm tired, but the real injuries could really shut down your season. No, I didn't get any of those. We're like, I can't compete for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite questions is balancing academics and sport. What was your system? What kind of system you used to balance both while in high school in order to get to college?
I have to give a lot of credit to my mother because my mom actually put us in a lot of extra lesson, they call it in Jamaica. Pay for a lot of extra lesson classes. I remember I had to go to Afro Tree to go to these extra lesson classes just so we could be able to have good grades. And think about it, I had to go to extra lesson practice and then I have to go to school. So I remember mom after I really have to give her credit, so be able to do those extra lessons. So the extra lesson that I went to, the teachers that were there, they help with the homework and any kind of like school activities outside of school where they say, hey, you got to do these assignments. Those people will be able to help me and my twin brother be able to like complete those assignments and bring them back to school. Especially like literature, I had a hard time going home and reading the chapters where the teacher would say, hey, read chapter 3, 4, and 5. Because when you get home, all your friends want to play. We know how Jamaica setting is, especially in Portmore, it's a scheme life. So everybody always out on the street. So it's easily get distracted, forget you got to read chapter 2 and 3. And the next day you go to school, I'm supposed to read, so be able to do those extra lessons and actually go there where you could actually focus and it helped. So that's what helped me out my time at Calabar. Like I have to like give those kind of credit to my parents. God rest our soul.
So you had very good support. You had
Yeah.
Mr. Herb McKinley as the coach and mentor and other people. Your mother. I
Yeah.
hear so many stories about the mothers. You had a good system.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you were kept in check.
Yeah. More than in check. She didn't even want me to grow my hair to go to school. I have to keep my hair cut. Look, yeah. You don't understand. She was a real mom. Yeah. I was like, is this not going to do anything if I grow my hair? She just really kept you in check. She dropped us at school. I didn't even get a chance to take the bus a lot. She dropped us at school. Yeah, she dropped us at school in the morning. So you could tell the support system there. Drop us off at school in the morning. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your junior international career. This is when you start competing for the country now, Carifta, World Youth, World Junior. Tell me a little bit about that transition from just high school, competing at home, to now competing for the country. Not Calabar, but the country.
So my first team I made, I went to El Salvador. It was like 96. I went to El Salvador. I made a team in the hurdles, and I got third in the hurdles there. But my big breakthrough was World Junior, World U20, they call it now. World Junior. I went to Annecy, France in 98. And that year, I got third in the 100 meter. And that was the first time any U20 athlete for Jamaica have medal in the 100 individually. Not relays or anything, individually. So I got third at that World Junior Championship in the 100 meter. And I remember we won the 4x1 relay. And then the 4x4 we won also. So my first World Juniors, I had great success. After when I won World Junior and got the third in 100, you could imagine every university on planet Earth, every corner of the earth sending me letters, sending me book, them it is brochure, Auburn, Florida, Texas, everyone.
Scholarship in the air.
Yes, scholarship coming left and right. So now imagine your mom seeing all of these schools coming after you, so it was a proud moment for her because she knows she did a lot for us to get to this point. So I just always look back on that World Junior Championship. And then after that World Junior, the following year we had Junior Pan Am, and I dominated Junior Pan Am. I went to Junior Pan Am, I won the 1, I won the 2, and we won the 4x4. Yes, and that was my last junior year before I went off to college. So when I look back at my junior career, I had a really dominant junior career. I won I won a gold medal in the 4x1 and I won a bronze medal in the 100. Then the following year I came back and I won both individual and junior Pan Am. So I look at it, I have a really dominant junior year. And the times that I run wasn't even slow either. That was pretty fast. Yeah, they're fast today.
Yep. So you've had what you call your legacy started very early. You building your legacy. You had a very good kickstart.
Yes.
You enrolled in Clemson. Tell me about the transition to Clemson University.
Yes. So then I after high school, I decided to go to Clemson. Clemson had this real good sprinter, and he turned into the Olympic champion in 2004. His name Sean Crawford. So Sean was running at Clemson at the time, and he won NCAA in the 200. And I said, well, the coach must know what I'm doing if you're having people winning NCAA. So I'm gonna go to Clemson. So I went to Clemson and started there, and then at NCAA I ran against Mr. Justin Gatlin. So I like a little backstory on Justin Gatlin was in high school. I migrated from Jamaica and went to high school for 2 years after I left Calabar. So I left Calabar after first year one. I won first year one, went to the United States and do 2 more years of high school. And I competed against Justin Gatlin, who was big competitor for me in high school. So I beat him in high school national. So now we went to college. And that NCAA that I got second, he won. So he won the 100, I got second. He won the 200 meter and I got second. I think Michael Freda was third, Michael. See, so we've been competing the whole time. So Freda was going to TCU, Texas Christian University. So we all competed against each other. But even at Clemson, when I got second in the 1 and the 2, that's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. And the 4x1 also got second. So I was doing pretty good, even at the collegiate level. Yeah, and then after that year, what happened? I decided to go pro. So I signed with Adidas.
But you before we get there, you transferred to the University of Florida.
Yes.
What influenced that transfer from Clemson to?
My mom. Okay. She was diabetic. She's diabetic. Okay. She lives in Fort Lauderdale, Miramar, Fort Lauderdale. So I think if I went to Florida, I'd be close to her. I could drive down all the time. But being in Clemson, you have to fly to Florida if you want to get to her. But I said, you know what? And Florida, Michael Holloway is a coach there now, was an awesome coach. He was a great coach. He's still one of the best collegiate coach now. He wanted me to come to Florida and he offered me the scholarship. So I went. And I said, all right, now I could be able to be close to my mom. But when I went to Florida, I actually love Florida. And the reason why I say I love the University of Florida was because of the lot of Caribbean influence that was at the school. Because in the state of Florida, so a lot of Jamaicans went to Florida. A lot of people, Bayesian, people from Trinidad went to the school versus Clemson didn't have a lot of that Caribbean influence. And I know I love to gravitate towards my people. I love the Caribbean people. I could be myself. I could talk in a Jamaican accent. We could cook ackee, sawfish, bami. We could cook roti. That I didn't get at Clemson. Now when I went to Florida, I'm getting that. Because yes, track and field is good, but people always say you want to be in a solid ecosystem or environment where you're comfortable. If you don't have that, track won't work out, right? Because if you don't have a good mind space and a mental space, then physically you won't be able to perform. So when I went to Florida and I get all of that surrounded by all of these Caribbean people, we're hanging out all the time, I was in a happy place. So then now my performance started even get better. And instead of running for Florida, I decided to go pro. Two things that happened. Justin Gatlin signed with Nike and he was going to get an offer from Adidas. And then I was second behind him at the NCAA. So they came to me and to our agent, and then I said, okay, I'm going to decide to take this. I spoke to my mother about it, and she was like, hey, whatever you want to do, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I take the opportunity to run professionally for Adidas. That's how the relationship started. So that's the next transition in my face, as we could call it, from college.
And that's exactly where we are going to go now, to your professional career. Yeah. But before we going into your professional career, how did you get educated about the sport in terms of the contract to sign, what to look for in a contract, just to make sure that you were getting what you are worth? How were you educated about that?
The college coach did. Michael Holloway helped me. Yeah, he did. He did help me. So I sat in his office. He called a few agents, and then he called the right one who was the right fit. And the agent that he called, to this day, we're still very, 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 very close friends. So he's the one that vetted it for me. He helped me vet it out, the agent, and then also to make sure school was still being paid for. Because even though I went pro with Adidas, I still stayed at University of Florida and finished my degree. So
you were no longer on a scholarship. You were not paying for you.
Yeah, no longer on a scholarship. I gave it up. Yes. And then that's what they're doing today now. So a lot of these kids that go to high school, the shoe company pay for them to go to school and continue to go to school and finish, because track and field is not going to last forever. No sport lasts forever. So the goal was I still went to class, still train in the evening, still train with my teammates, pay for my core courses. Adidas pay for it, and I finished my degree. And even today, now that I still work in the professional track world, I always tell the young kids, even the ones that's coming out of high school, make sure the shoe
Hold
cover.
that thought. Hold
Yes.
that thought because I have that on my list. I like where
Yes.
you're going,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
let us just talk about your Olympic dream first.
Yeah.
Every athlete, I'm sure, dream of competing at the Olympics. When did you know that you wanted to compete at the Olympics?
At Calabar. At Calabar. Because we used to play games like I'm Linford Christie, you're Frankie Frederick. These are people that these are Olympic greats, and people that's probably watching this know these names. I'm like in practice, I'm Linford Christie, other teammates say him, Frank Fredericks, another one said Michael Johnson, another one said Ada Bolden. So what we call that playing, play acting, play acting like you're Olympic medalists, and say, hey, soon I'm going to be where Linford Christie is. Linford Christie was Olympic champion in 92 and world champion in 93. Ada Bolin won silver and bronze in 96. Michael Johnson, we know he's world record holder,
Man,
multiple.
you know your data.
Yeah, yeah. So, we play acting these athletes. So right from then and there, that's where you want to go. Yeah, I want to be Linford Chris. I'm going to be in the next Olympics. And Donovan Bailey was another one too as well. Yeah, that was another big influence on me growing up, going to Calabar, that I wanted to be like Donovan Bailey because he was from Jamaica. He migrated to Canada. He won the Olympics. He broke the world record in 100-meter. And I get to meet him when I was still in high school. Yeah, I met him when I was still in high school. Yeah.
So you, even though you guys were playing at the time,
Yeah.
but it materialized because you made your first Olympic team to the Sydney Olympics in 2000.
Yes.
You were still a baby at that time.
Yeah, that's why I said I met them. That's why I said I met Donovan. Yeah, when I was in high school, because I met them at the games. Yeah.
Tell me about your first Olympic Games back in 2000 at the Sydney Olympics. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, to be honest, Sydney is like my favorite Olympic Games. Two things, because I think all the countries that I've visited so much country throughout my career, just like any other track athlete. We get the opportunity to travel the world. Australia is my favorite. Yeah, Australia is my favorite. I don't know why. The vibe, the culture, the people, everything that was there, like they spoke English, and you feel like you're all the way on another continent of the world. And you could identify with people like speaking the same language. Beijing was different. It's Chinese, so you'd have to have an interpreter when we travel around. So being in Sydney, it was perfect. I feel like almost you was at home. Yeah. So I love Sydney. And this is the culture. I'm not even talking about running our track or being at the stadium. I'm just talking, we were in Sydney like 3 weeks before the game even began. So I was away for about 5 weeks, I think, because we were in Sydney for 2 weeks training camp. Then the games last for about another 2 weeks. So yeah, 4 weeks. Yes, I was in Sydney for 4 weeks. And think about it. I'm in Sydney for 4 weeks as a teenager, man. You have the time of your life. You just go eat, sleep, train, chill. That's it. Eat, sleep. And then in Sydney, I wasn't like trying to win the gold medal. I wasn't trying to win. I'm just there for the experience. This is the first one. I'm enjoying it. I'm here with one of my best friends, Sanjay, here. I was there with Sanjay. We both just having fun. Hey, this is the first one. And then what happened in Sydney is we got fourth. My team got fourth in the 4x1. So we got fourth in the relay, and it was one of the most challenging moments going back on the plane because we were far away from getting a medal.
Yeah, that fourth spot is tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of athletes said it. I spoke with Dwayne Extall here on Tuesday, and he also talked about the fourth spot finish.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about it, but there's something about that fourth spot. But what a lot of people might not know, you're mostly 100 and a sprint hurdler, but you made the Sydney team in the 200. How did that happen? What happened there?
Look, just running the trials, just being me, and actually went far. And as I said, Sydney, I was just running for fun. I remember Greg Hart, who was another good friend of mine, and he won the bronze medal that year in the 400. And Greg, like, why you not taking running this thing serious? He like slowing down before the line, but I just didn't know what I was doing. I just didn't know what I was doing. I'm just a young high school kid. I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just doing and I ran a big PB. I ran 2050. And think about it, I'm not even in college yet. I'm running 2050 in high school. Yes, and then I'm gonna head to college with those kind of time. And as I said, 2050 back then is probably 20.1 today.
But
Like
you know something, Dwight? You know
yeah.
something, you just said something a while ago that I want us to touch just a little bit. You said you were just running for fun. You didn't even know what you were doing. But some of us fans, we sit in the stands and we trash the young athletes when they do that. They run and they look sides and they look behind them and not realizing that you guys are young and you're just enjoying yourself.
It's young, young, young. You're young. All right. And another good example I could use to like, I don't know this young man that well, but I like look at Bohaji. He just ran at the junior Pan Am, and he didn't do so well because he was hurt, right? And a lot of people probably be like, why did he go? But you know why? I know why he go because I
But
went.
he got a silver medal.
Yeah, he got a silver medal in the relay and everything. But you have to look at it. Is his last junior year. He's not gonna get this year back 5-6 years down the road. So,
True.
he's not gonna get it back. So man, go out there and have fun and run. I don't care if you get second, third, fourth, fifth, or you don't make the finals. It's fine. Because later on you're still gonna win the Olympic Games. Yeah, I'm telling you. So when I look at a situation like that, even if you could make it back and compete throughout your junior years, because what you're doing now is just having fun. When you get to the senior level and the Olympic come in and then you start running and this is your livelihood, that's when it gets serious.
Do you think that we fans, we need to give the juniors a little bit more leeway to enjoy the sport and enjoy themselves and
Yes,
not take them too seriously?
yes, because they need to take a little bit of pressure off for the junior athletes. Yes. So don't kind of create these expectations for them like Jamaica were always supposed to win. No, I'm not saying it should all be about fun. No, absolutely not. But at the same time, they're young, they're still developing. So don't really put any extra pressure on them saying like you have to win and let's win this one. And yeah, let's go out there and perform. How about saying it in that farm? Let's go out there and perform. Yeah. He said, let's go out there and beat everyone. You're not supposed to lose. No, that's just creating a lot of pressure on their shoulders. So let's go out there and perform. And the performance will get the job done. I mean,
Many
that's the simple way.
many athletes have told me that one of the toughest competition is the Jamaican trials. Tell me
Yes.
about your experience at our trials.
Man, to be honest, the trials harder than the actual games.
I've heard that. Do what's his name? Ricardo Chambers, the quarter miler, said that to
Yes.
me. Yeah.
The trials is actually harder than the games. Think about like I run in an era with Bolt, like
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm few years ahead of him. I'm a few years older than him. I remember when he was coming up, and the year before he came on the senior scene, I won the trial. I won the senior trials. But in an era where Bolt's running like 9.6, 9.7, 9.8, and go to the trials 1998 for the Beijing team. That's the year when he already broke the world record in New York. He ran 9.72 in New York. And then the trials like 3 weeks later, and I line up in the same semifinal. You seen them in the warm-up. I could see in the warm-up era or relaxed or composed he was. Like he wasn't even breaking a sweat. He's not worrying. But then you have other competitors it's like sweating like I have to make this team. And when we call it don't make the plane leave you. So you don't make the plane leave you. So that means
What does that mean?
you don't make the team. You're not going. Yeah. So kind of you make the plane, or the flight leave you. They ain't make no team. So that means you're staying home. Yeah. So you're staying home till the next 4 years before you can
Wow.
go up on the plane again. So I remember me and Nesta Carter, like we sit down on the cycle track and I said I met the plane, Yeah. So that's why we're like, look, talk amongst ourselves. Yeah.
So let me ask you something, Dwight. You went to the Olympics 3 times. 2008, when you line up in that 100-meter final at the trials, there
Yeah.
was you, there was Asafa Powell, there was Usain Bolt, there was Nesta Carter, there was Michael Frater.
Yeah.
And when you thought about only three can go for the individual, and you see them man upon some on the left, some on the right, what was going through your mind?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, at that time, you got to block it out, though, you know? Yeah, because you got to do all the thinking and everything. But once you get to the line behind the starting blocks and they say, runners, take your mark, you have to take a deep breath and you have to clear your mind. You have to clear your mind because anything on your mind at that point going to create distraction and you want to make sure you react to the gun. We know how short the 100-meter is. You run in less than 10 seconds. So any bad step, misstep, slow reaction, it dictates the outcome of the race. So my biggest thing is once they said runners, stand by your blocks, you take a deep breath and clear your mind. Yeah, don't think I'm gonna try to push out hard. I'm gonna drive phase. My left foot gonna move faster than my right foot right now. No, but before heading to that line, yes, there's a lot of like anxiety, a lot of blood flow, everything flowing, everything, everything going off at that moment. Yeah, man. Before you step
Wow.
on the line, yeah, man, because you see boy right there, he might do him high knees, he might snap him neck. You see off a Powell, and you could see it in their eyes that they're ready to compete. So you better get ready to compete too. But we're all like in our own zone at that point. You can't watch anybody, you can't look across. That means you're not focused on your race. Yes. But you can feel it though. That's all you need to do. You can feel it. You can feel somebody on your shoulders. That's it beside you. Standing behind the blocks. But you don't really need to look.
This
Yeah.
this is amazing because you competed in an era. You will always be able to tell the story lining up with people like Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell,
Yes.
and those guys. You are
Yes.
one of the few who will have the story to tell that
Yeah.
you ran with these guys over and over and over.
People don't understand that's the golden era from what is
Yeah.
happening now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I was from that era, but y'all started in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
Before Beijing, Jamaica wasn't dominating nothing on the senior level. Yeah. I think our last biggest gold medalist before that was Dean Hemmings. Merlin Atty didn't win any gold on the Olympic level, so we got to go further back then, right?
Yeah, the 21st
Yeah.
century really did kick off well with Veronica winning those two gold medals in
Yes.
Athens.
Yes.
You know, the 21st century really turned up the thing.
And even that Athens game that we won, it was only she that won a gold medal. So it was
Yeah.
it was still like Donald Quarry won a gold medal, but what was happening? Only one person, one Donald Quarry, that was it for the team. Veronica Campbell, that was it. Yeah, the 4x1 girls won too as well. And before that, like but when you talk about Beijing, boy,
Beijing
it's
was
just
different,
think
man.
about it. We were winning medal in all different events, in the
Yep.
hurdles, Melanie Walker hurdles, the
As you say, Jamaica win another goal. A matter of fact,
yeah,
a
it's just
matter,
crazy.
listen, a matter of fact, I was listening to the commentator. I think it was Lance Whitaker or
Yeah.
somebody, and he said the Jamaicans are on fire in the bird's nest. You
Yes.
know what that means? We are mash up the place.
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm telling you. I forgot how many gold medals we won, but we won almost enough gold medals to match USA track and field team.
Yes, we won two with Bolt in the 1 and 2. Veronica defended her title. I
Mhm.
mean, the women's 100 was
Yeah,
just
Fraser,
incredible. One,
one,
two, two.
two.
I
Yeah,
mean, Milane with our
Millie.
thing. I
Yeah,
mean, it was crazy. We were just winning medals all
left, right.
around.
Yeah, and then that's when it started. Continue up to now.
Mhm,
That's why I
mhm.
said Shelly and Fraser. We see what she's still doing now. She keep winning titles.
Remarkable.
Remarkable. And that was our first title. That was our first title. The year before that, Olympic Games in Beijing, we were in a World Championship in Osaka in 2007, and she was just on the 4x1 eats.
And a lot of people don't remember that.
She was
A
on
lot
the
of people
heat.
don't. A lot of
They
people
don't
don't
know that.
remember that. A lot of people don't remember
They
that.
don't know that she was on the heats. Not
Yeah,
even
she ran in the rounds.
she
Yeah.
running the rounds. Yeah, she running the rounds.
That's how competitive it was. She wasn't
Yes,
able to make the final four that
yes,
ran in the final. And
yes.
look at what she did a year after and continue to
Mhm.
do.
To do, yes, she was.
Remarkable,
Yes,
remarkable. But
yes.
this part of the interview is what I like, Dwight. I
Mhm.
like to tell you guys about your achievements. Now, earlier I said that you represented Jamaica at 3 Olympic Games: Sydney, Athens, and Beijing,
Yeah,
2000, 2004, 2008.
yeah.
You went to six world championships. Am I
Mhm.
right? 2001, 2003, 2005, 2007, 2009, 2011.
2013.
You were there 2013?
Yeah. I think I went to
Crazy.
8. I think I went to 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remarkable, remarkable. 1998, you went to the World Juniors. You
Yeah.
went to 1996 and 1998, you went to the CAC Games. 2000 Nakak, Commonwealth Games, Carifta Games. You have personal best in the 100, the 110-meter hurdles, the 200-meter. Oh my God, I'm running out of breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me, Dwight, how do you feel? Tell me how you feel being a Jamaican and being a part of this legacy that we continue to build on in track and field.
I think the whole just being a great track athlete for Jamaica, I think that's what kind of like molded me to the person I am today. Without track and field, I wouldn't be able to travel the world and kind of get a perspective on life from different experiences, right? Be able to travel to different countries where you and people don't even speak the same language. We have to like communicate by using gestures, you know? So I've been so many places in the world, and Jamaica is the one that gave me this opportunity to compete for Jamaica, right? I went to all the way to Australia, to all the way to China, all the way to Japan, and then we could count multiple places in Europe. And then as a junior, Carifta Games all over the Caribbean islands. So I've been so many places that I'm grateful, and that's what gave me the opportunity to be Dwight today. And that's why I love to give back to the sport. And that's why I love to like mentor young athletes. Because I know a lot of young athletes, there's some of them misguided because some of them don't have the right people around them. And then you have
Mm-hmm.
the ones that do have the right people around them, and those are the ones that usually become successful. Then you always have the ones that do not have the support system. So I'm open to anyone that really need any advice or being talked to, because Jamaica is what Dwight's all about. It's the one I gotta order a distinction on my name because I competed for Jamaica. Not everybody could walk around and say they got an OD by their name. So Jamaica gave me those opportunity to be say, hey, I gotta order a distinction. I was able to get my master's degree, all of these different things in sports management because I did sports. I wanted to be a manager and do stuff in sports. So I got my master's in sports management. So it opened a lot of doors for me tremendously outside of the sport, inside the sport. Jamaica, I mean, it's a bread and butter. That's why I love visiting Jamaica. I don't, since I've migrated, there's not one year that I've passed that I haven't visited
I've
Jamaica.
seen you. I've seen you in the stadium a lot,
Yeah,
especially at Champs.
yeah,
Yes, I've seen
yeah,
you quite a few
yes,
times
yes.
coming back. But Calabar is no stranger to producing top athletes from the from at the Olympic level. When you look at Herb McKinley, Arthur Wind, Warren Weir, Maurice Smith, Jason Morgan, Maurice Wigner,
Yeah.
Christopher Taylor, Sanjay Eyre, Frederick Dakers,
Yes,
Travis Michael, Chad Wright. Me tired. Me tired.
it's tired
Look,
now.
look here. I mean, oh my God, it
Yeah,
is a big deal. Calabar and Jamaica track and field. You being a part of that,
yes.
it is a big deal. Let us talk about retirement. When did you know it was time to walk away from the sport?
I tried I compete my last year I competed was 2015 Pan American Games in Toronto. And I was pushing it. I was like 34, 35 at that time. So I'm gonna push it to one more year, which would be Rio. And then the injuries starting to come a little bit. Once they're starting to come, it's kind of telling you the time because it comes with age. And not everyone has found a fountain water of youth like Shelly so when you don't find that fountain of water for like to keep you youthful or keep you younger, it's time you got to tell yourself it's time to transition from the sport. And that's when I felt like, you know what, let me find different ways where I could still be a part of the sport. And my way was to kind of like become a sports manager and kind of be a mentor to younger athletes and also coach. Yeah.
Tell me about that new chapter in your life where you are giving back to sport, because I know that you are giving back. Tell us about that
Yeah.
part of your life.
Even recently, in December, I went down. I spoke at my alma mater, Calabar. I brought shoes, clothes, everything to just give to the athletes, because I know they were like a little bit low on certain kind of equipment, and I packed bags from the United States, bags that was just shoes and all that, not my personal stuff in there, just for the team. Brought that for the team. Not only that, but I spoke with the team. Mr. Bennett allowed me to have a speech, and I spoke to the team, talked to the guys, share with them my history, how I came to Calabar, how my Herb McKinley was a part of my career early on, why you should listen to your coach, the reason why you're here, why you want to be here, why you want to do tracks. I kind of like spoke from the heart, so kind of let them understand the passion that I shared when I was at Calabar, that being a young lion and now being a older lion, as you could call it, or a past lion, I still share the same sentiment, the same goal, the same passion, as if I'm still going to Calabar. That's why when every Calabar old boy goes to boys champs and they cheer on, it's almost, you still feel like you just like going to the school right at that moment. You still share the same passion, the same sentiments as the students that are there. So I kind of share that with them. I said, don't take it for granted, because you probably feel like, I'm going to Calabar, that's it. But there's going to come a moment later on where you're going to feel just like me. So don't take it for granted. But Calabar have done so well over the years in terms of training. It's just the mentality, the mind frame, the coaching, everything. So that's why year after year we'll be able to create like these superstars. As you see, we have more new ones coming, young ones coming up. Yes, we got third at boys champs, but I know we're going to win boys champs. Next year we're going to win boys champs.
Wow, woohoo!
Yeah, so I know we're going to go back to the top. So, but just all of those little, Calabar was the school that kind of like made me who I am today. I kind of like telling people that. I like sharing that story. Because as I said, my first year at boys champs, I wasn't dominant. I hit the hurdle. I got 8th place. And then my last year at boys champs, I was breaking records. I won gold medal at World Juniors. I break champs record, and I win the 1, the 2, and the 100 at boys champs. So that tells me that something was at Calabar that keep me determined from the time I was in first farm all the way till I was in 5th farm. And that determination not only stick with me in track and field, it translate over into my real life. Yeah.
If you were to go to another school, I hear your passion for Calabar and I love it. If you were to go to another school, which school would it be?
I was this close to going to Wolmer's. Because I'm Stephen Francis. He came to my house, he sit on my veranda, he talked to my mom, talked to my brother. He recruited me to come to Wolmer's, and I was this close to going to Wolmer's, but it just didn't happen because my whole family been to Calabar. So I end up saying, you know what? I'll just go to Calabar and keep the bloodline going to flowing green. Yeah, let's call it that. Yeah, we'll just keep it flowing green.
What is your most memorable moment competing for Calabar?
Winning the 110 hurdles in class 1 and breaking the record. Yeah, breaking the record in the class 1 hurdles in the semi. Yeah, not even on the last day. And I know I was going to break the record. So I'm just going to break the record right now. I'm not even going to wait till Saturday. Yeah.
What is your most memorable moment competing for Jamaica?
That's a good one. I would have to say Beijing running the 4x1, the lead off. Yes. And that team went on and win in the finals. Yes.
Yeah. Indeed. You are, a little birdie told me that you're an agent or a manager. Tell me a little bit about that that part of your career.
Yeah, so I have a sports marketing and a sports agency with my partner and really good friend of mine, Sekou Clark, who is also another former athlete.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he was sharing with you that he went to Calabar for 1 day.
He did?
People don't know that, yeah.
Oh yes, I know about Sekou Clark very well. I've watched him compete at champs doing brilliant stuff. Yes.
But a lot of people didn't know. He went to Calabar for 1 day.
Why 1 day though?
And then he switched, and then he's gonna go to JC because his dad already was a coach at Jamaica College, but his dad went to Calabar.
Yes, I heard that. Calabar.
So he went, but me and Sekou, we're partners, and we have Actors Global Management Company, and we started this company in 2016, and over the time we have been able to manage a few athletes. Like now, we manage Sidney McLaughlin and Kenny Benerick. We started working with Alana Reed. And
that's good.
Good one. So Yeah, but it's a way for me to stay in the sport, be able to still travel to a lot of the diamond leagues, golden leagues, continental meets, and still get to see people who I came up with, whether some of them coaching, like I see Michael Freighter now, he's coaching, he's doing very well. We see
Mhm.
him, I just saw him in Monaco. We're in Monaco in France, and just to see him on that side coaching and on this side being an agent. At one time we always competing as a junior. I remember we were heading to Carifta games when I was 17, I think Mike, I was 16 or 15, and we in the back of the bus sitting together, right? So coming from there, Carifta games, when we're like teenagers, to know we're grown adults and start doing this as a part of our livelihood now, where we're in Europe, he's coaching and I'm being a manager. So look how long of an extended period we know each other, over 20 years. Yes, I love being around these people. So that
Amazing.
too, yeah, it's amazing how we just stick together and still stay to be able to be in the same space over such a long period of time.
As a manager, as a sport manager, how do you pick the athletes that you want to manage? How do you find the right fit?
You have to recruit. You have to recruit with the coaches. So like University of Texas, University of Florida, different colleges have to communicate with the colleges, and you have to sign up with the colleges through their athletic department. And then once they give you the opportunity to talk to the athlete, then you recruit them. And remind you, other agents are recruiting these same athletes. So it's a doggy dog world, right? So you'll be able to have to present yourself and present how you could make their career a bit better, how you can help them establish their goals, etc., etc. So we'll have to do a presentation, and then we'll have to like talk to the coach and let the coach know this is the plan. Whether you're gonna continue to coach them here in college or they will move on to a professional coach in a more professional scheme or environment. So it's a process where it starts from there, and then the athlete will say, well, Dwight and Sekou, I want you guys to represent me. From there now, we will go to different shoe company and kind of try to get them the best endorsement deal. Outside of the typical shoe company deal, we'll kind of try to get them different opportunity of sponsorship. Like in Jamaica, you have the digital water, different things. If it's a Jamaican athlete, if it's an American, like Sidney McLaughlin, she has Tag, she has Gatorade, all these different major brands. So that's where it comes in. And then that's just the easy part. Then the next part is getting the athletes in competition, getting them in Europe, getting them in meets, travel with them, setting up their schedule, flight, accommodation, all these things. So we have to have a team as well. We have to have a travel agency. We have to have people inside the office who will help with like sending out an itinerary, day to day, what your schedule be like. Think about like somebody like Sydney. She had a lot of interview obligation. She have a lot of press conference and promotion she has to do before she even compete, right? So we have to make sure she know what time she got to be there, what day these press conferences and all of these different things. But at the same time, it's fun. It's fun. You know why it's fun? Because I went through the same process, so it's easy. It's easy for me. It's like clockwork. Like, yeah. I remember doing this. Then we got to go to a managers meeting. I remember this to find out what lane you're gonna be in, who's gonna be in front of who's gonna be behind you. Yeah, so
Wow.
it's a process and it's fun. Yeah, I like doing it. Yeah, I like going to the meetings. You get to talk with other agents in the meeting. Yes.
How do you recruit? Do you have any Jamaicans on your roster? How do you recruit the Jamaicans?
So right now, as I said, we work with Alana. We work with Alana Reed because she went pro as of recently, and then
Yeah.
we were we work with we work with another hurdler who's just finished at Clemson University, Giano. He was the indoor national champion in the hurdles. He won indoor, so he just now finished Clemson and he's gonna go pro. So mind you, what we do with our business is we don't want to sign too many athletes. We want to keep it like a boutique. We're going to keep it small and then kind of like get the best athletes out there and then we slowly grow. So that's the process we're in. So we don't want to sign everyone. There are people that come to us that want us to sign them, but we just think it wouldn't be the best fit right now because the ones we sign, we want to give them a lot of attention and give them all the attention they need to make sure they're fulfilling their career and we're fulfilling our obligation because we don't want to stretch ourselves too thin and then people feel they get neglected. So I don't want no athlete to feel like that when we work with. I want
Indeed.
everyone to feel like they're getting the same attention. So we kind of keep it boutique right now and small. So we don't want to sign everyone.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Remarkable. Remarkable. You guys are really giving back to the sport. And you mentioned mentorship earlier, and That's very good for the youngs, especially the youngsters coming up, because as you said earlier, a lot of them, they don't know what to do, who to go to. They don't have any idea, especially when they're approached with a contract at age 18 or 19. What do they do with that contract?
They don't have no clue. So even with like our company, if you look up S.A. Clark is also an attorney in Orlando. So we even have a marketing company that we have a firm that deals with like accounting. So we offer these service to you. You don't have to take it, but we do offer a service to you. So an accountant, someone that they take care of your taxes, as I say, a travel agent, somebody going to deal with your marketing, all these different departments we have under one company, and we offer that service to you. Mind you, you could get your own services, you could get your own tax person, all of this. We have someone that kind of like set up a budget monthly for you. They say, all right, this is rent, this is this way you could put away, this you could save, this you could invest. We have all of these people in-house. Our office is located downtown Orlando. So you could even come in our office, sit down, schedule a meet, and then go over all of these stuff step by step with you. That's the approach we take, in that a lot of management company probably don't have the capability of doing. But we know we have the capability of doing that. So we want to like offer these services. So we want to like be a little bit different and be a little bit more trendy. Like it's a different era where social media and all of these different things kind of like taking over the world. So what we do is we even have someone that could help you with your social media content. If you don't post a lot, they could help you post. Like, all right, we don't post a lot, but let's help you post. And this is what you post, how you post, this picture you should post. So we even have someone that help you in that regard. So
Interesting.
yeah, we try to be really different.
You're piquing my interest now. Keep going.
Yeah.
I
So
like it though. I like it.
yeah, so it's really cool. So that's why I was like, it's really cool. And then what I like to see is when the athlete look happy that we're doing it. And the response is like they're blown away. Yeah, yes. I like when they're blown away.
So
Yeah.
do you guys talk to athletes about retirement, investment, and those kind of things?
Yes, the same accountant will go over all of those stuff with them. Retirement
Beautiful.
and investment. I even share with them like the lifespan of their event. Like, right? Like the 100-meter, sometimes you're good if you're lucky if you last 4 years on top. Right? Then the long jump is a different event. A lot of people go long jump for a longer period of time. It's just because of different requirements it require. The sprinting event is the toughest event. So if you're a sprinter, know where you're lining up against every day when you go out there, because you're in the toughest event. The toughest event and the most popular event, actually. Yeah. If a lot of people don't know in track and field, the two predominant event is the sprint, which is a 100-meter, and the mile. Yeah, everybody could relate to the mile. Everybody that go out and run, so how many miles I did today? I did 2 miles, 1 mile. And that's where shoe company makes money from, because they sell the shoe that the Kenyans make to run all these world records in the mile and the marathon, right? So those are the two predominant events in our sport. So I always kind of like educate them. Out of all these sports, out of all these different events, make sure you know your events, make sure you study, make sure you do your research, and always know your history of your event. Always know what's dominant in your event, and go and watch TV, watch videos on YouTube, because you guys in the YouTube era, which I wasn't into that much, where you could listen to like Asafa Powell talking about how he come up. There's a lot of videos on YouTube of Bolt coming up when he's training. Bolt didn't win this first Olympic in 2004 in Athens. He got knocked out in the first round.
I remember.
A lot of people say, yeah, he got knocked out in the first round, but he was hurt. He was hurt. We have to give him that. He was hurt, and he was going into the Olympics unhealthy. And that year, he already ran the world junior record. But the fact still remained, he didn't make it past the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 years later, like everybody was 10 meters behind him.
No, but he said, there's a clip with him online that I was watching where he said, I trained 4 years to run 9.58.
Yes. Like a lot of people have to look at the history and look. Don't think, oh, Bolt was just great. But Bolt came up just like everybody else. After that 2004 Olympics, in 2005, he stopped in Helsinki. He was in lane 1 in the 200-meter final, pulled up, hurt. Everybody started saying, nah, he never wasn't hurt. He just stopped, all that stuff. So he went through his trial and tribulation just like every other athlete. 2007, he was getting beat by Tyson Gay and Wallace Spearman. He still wasn't dominating, still. But 2008, everything came around. As you say, it took him 4 years, a process.
Yeah.
Took him 4 years to get to the top. It's a process. Yes.
Wonderful. What a story. Dwight, you've shared so much tonight. And let me tell you, you are good for the sport. You're good for the
Yeah.
sport because our young people, the younger athletes coming up now, because so many things coming at them, they need to know how to make informed decision as it relates to which scholarship they take up, which contract they
Yeah.
take up. They need to know these things, and they need information because a lot of them at age 17, 18, they don't know.
You don't know.
You
Yeah.
know, so you are very good for the sport. But I'm going to play a game with you now. I
Yes.
want you to name me some people from your past that you've competed with and the school that they went to.
Okay.
Call the names and the school that they went to.
All right. One of my favorite, Ada Bowling went to UCLA. Asafa Power went to UTech. Um, Let me go international. Tyson Gay went to University of Arkansas. Wallace Bamer went to University of Arkansas. Um, Let me get another country. Which other country I could go to? Yeah, I don't like.
I want you to give me some from champs also.
All right, champs. Let me go champs. So, um, who was already said? Roy Bailey. He went to Arizona. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Roy Bailey went to Arizona. Steve Slowly went to TCU. Yes, there's coming now. All right. Barnaby went to school in Texas. All right. Okay. Hurdler. Bacchus. Wayne Bacchus, who was second behind me in the hurdlers. He beat me in class 2. He went to Auburn. Queen Bacchus. Who else I could say? Carl Harrison went to school in Texas. One of my teammates, he was a 400-meter runner. I'm almost at 10.
All right, give me some now from champs that you run against and the school that they went to in Jamaica.
So Barnaby went to KC, Slowly went to San Diego, Roy Calabar, Bacchus San Diego, Ryan Clark, Kingston College.
Wow, you're firing.
Ryan Clark, Kingston College. Winston God, my teammate, Calabar, he came second behind me in 100 in class 2. I could keep going. Andre Murray, Calabar High School. He won the 400-meter. We run on the 4x4 together. That got second at Penn Relay and won boys champs. I'm on fire. Let me say, let me keep going. Who else was in my races? Third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I'm going blank now. I'm drawing blank.
That's no problem. You named a matter of fact.
I went to 8. That's 8.
Yes,
8.
you went to high school and you also went to university. You did, you did a very good job. Dwight Bigger Thomas. As I said before, anybody know you as Bigger Thomas.
Yes.
If you're in track and field world from way back when, you would know the name Dwight Bigger Thomas, formerly of Calabar standout. Dwight, thank you very much for joining me on this chat. And you've shared a lot. Shared a lot, and I like that. And as I said before, you are good for the sport because I am one of those people who is always lobbying for the younger athletes to have access to information.
Yes.
They need access to information in order to make the right decision that will help them going forward. So thank you very much for being here. And I hope we can make a link because we're thinking about the country, our athletes, track and field in Jamaica, and bringing back the sport to a certain level because there is a disconnection between track and field Jamaica and the fans, and we want to bring that back because we're doing too well in order for us not to be getting the support from the fans. We need the fans to come out in the stadium. So what is your final remark?
My final remark is I feel Jamaica has a lot of talent coming through the pipeline coming up, and I just want to say we just need to support them, as I said, not just athletically but mentally too as well. The ones that's already setting the stage right now, they already grown, they know what they're doing, they know how to take care of business. But it's the young generation that's coming next who's going to dictate where Jamaica going to be in 10 years. As I said, next year's Paris, now we have Olympics in 2028. So just make sure we nourish those young talent coming through all these pipeline at Kingston College, Calabar, Woolmans, even the schools, St. Elizabeth, Edwin Allen, all of these schools, Manchester, all of them. Everybody have some superstar there. It's not only the top five or the big threes in Kingston, but all the schools all in the country, St. Elizabeth, all of them, all these different schools, all the talent them, just nourish them, treat them right, guide them the right way, and tell them that they're the star of the future. Even when you don't feel they're gonna do, because nobody has a crystal ball and can see where the future holds. All right. So if you're not running fast now, you run fast later on. So still keep motivating them, still push them, and still give them the right word and the right choices of word to keep motivating them.
Amen. Well said. Well said. I don't even have to say anything after that. Well said. And Dwight, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much. And we will link. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Regina. All right.
Bye. Well, that was an outstanding interview with Dwight Thomas. Always liked him, watch him throughout his champs career and everything. He is really a track and field gem for Jamaica. And, we just want to wish him well on his endeavors, because he's doing a lot for the sport, with his business himself, and Sekou Clark really, really doing a good job. And I enjoyed that interview, and I hope that you guys enjoyed. So now I have some quick announcement. The World Championship will start next week, Friday the 19th. Next week, Friday, Saturday. It will start on the 19th. So we're going to break on the interviews that we would normally have. We're going to break on the Thursday show. This is the last show until the 31st of August after the championship. So we are going to break, but we will still be here because World Championship quiz will be coming up next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And before I go any further, I just want to big up my sponsor. I just want to say thanks to Akshev for being on board and making this possible and keep the thing going. Thank you very much, Akshev. Yes, going back to the break, we're going to break from the regular Thursday show, which is where I would have an athlete or anyone who is affiliated with track and field chatting with me here. So we're going to break on that for the World Championship, but we are going to be having World Championship quiz starting next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And of course, the quiz is really to test to see how well fans know about the World Championship and Jamaica's involvement in track and field. So, of course, we're going to have 3 days, the 15th, 16th, and 17th. On the 15th, we're going to have fans group 1. Yes, fans group 1 on the 15th. On the 16th, I'm going to be having a special edition with just athletes, whether Olympians, world champion athletes and guess what? I'm going to be having athletes that competed for Jamaica from 1970s, from 1980s into the 21st century. So you guys don't want to miss where I will have the athletes. I'm testing the athletes to see how much they know about themselves and competing at the World Championships. And of course, getting to know them a little bit. And of course, on the Thursday, which is the 17th, we're going to have a fiery quiz to close off, which is fans number 2, group 2, where we're going to have people who say they know track and field very well from other track and field channel. They will be joining me here for a quiz. Of course, I'm going to have coaches involved also. So we're going to have a mixture of coaches, fans, athletes, you name it, right here for this quiz. So guys, do your research, and we're going to test to see who know about our athletes, where they're from. See, I'm giving you some hints where the athletes are from, which school they went to, this kind of thing. So you see, I just gave you 2 hints. So Go and do your research now, because we are going to be having a very exciting quiz. And of course, as I said before, the World Championship starts on the 19th, and we just want to wish our athletes all the best going forward. And, just continue to represent us. They continue to do well. They continue to they continue to make Jamaica proud, and they continue to build on our legacy. So however they finish, we're going to be cheering them on. And guys, I don't know about you, but I am looking forward to the World Championship. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking to see great things from our senior athletes, the veterans, and of course, the newcomers to the team. So until next week, Tuesday, when we will have our first quiz with track and field fans, please be here, same time, to cheer them on. And of course, we will have different school representing. Very Technical will be in the house. St. Jago will be in the house. Camperdown will be in the house. St. Andrew Technical will be in the house. Which other school? A lot of schools will be here on this quiz representing their alma mater, and of course, one Jamaica. We say one Jamaica. So until next week, Tuesday, for quiz number 1, you all take care wherever you are. Be safe, whether it's morning, night, evening. Thank you very much for joining HP Chat Track one more time. And thank you very much for your support. Have a good night, a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon. Peace. I'm out.